After watching countless experts and entrepreneurs create highly valuable content for years, but still struggle to grow and attract dream clients to their business, I became obsessed with a different question. What are the specific podcast elements and mindset that's needed to drive real growth and revenue from a podcast? And today I'm sharing 40 podcasting growth and monetization tips that have helped us generate an additional $120,000 in profits over the last 9 months from our podcast while your podcast isn't growing. While bigger shows with more downloads struggle to monetize at all. And podcasting tips that has helped hundreds of other experts and entrepreneurs finally break past slow and steady growth and add tens of thousands of dollars in profit to their podcast. So with that being said, let's dive straight in. If your podcast is optimized for podcast SEO, try having a different cover art each month to see if it affects growth. Testing different visuals for the same show can reveal what attracts your ideal clients. And oftentimes, what you think will work often doesn't. Repeat your most successful formats. When episode structure resonates with your audience, it's really important that you create recurring series around them. This will save you time when it comes to planning and also gives your listeners familiar touch points. Production quality. Invest in good lighting for video podcasts. Proper lighting improves the perceived quality more than expensive camera. Seriously. So a $200 key light will make your $500 camera look like a $2,000 setup. And that's super important. If you are going to do video, go for it by all means. However, again, don't have a Zoom recording and upload that and that's going to do the job. It really doesn't. It's not really good enough. So make sure you have proper setup if you're going to do a video podcast. Focusing on search engine optimization is a strong strategy for increasing discoverability. But don't forget to keep focused on creating great content that people then share organically. This is how you win. You're being discovered by, again, people find you on podcast SEO, on Apple and Spotify, and then you're keeping them hooked on your content and nurturing them because, again, your valuable content is doing all the hard work for you. Listen to podcasts about podcasting when your motivation dips. This will happen. It's normal, and that's okay. Hearing other people's success story reminds you of what's possible and reignites your commitment during plateaus. Practice genuine gratitude for your current audience. Focusing on the listeners you don't have breeds discontent, and that can come through within your episodes. So appreciate your 50 listeners before you get 500. Get external feedback on your episode outlines. What seems clear to you may be confusing to someone else. So having a fresh lens to catch the blind spot that you have will help you massively when it comes to fine-tuning your messaging. Seek objective inputs with your episode title. So again, do the exact same thing for your titles. What grabs you might not actually resonate with your audience. So you can test different options with your target market before you publish the episode. Have someone else external review your audio quality. Most hosts don't hear their own bad audio issues. And I know this because we've audited hundreds of podcasts. And it's crazy when you ask someone, hey, how's your audio quality? They're like, yeah, it's good. But compared to what, right? So having a second pair of ears catches problems that otherwise you would have completely overlooked. Get feedback on your landing pages from actual subscribers. The bridge between your podcast and the email list is crucial when it comes to monetization. So test it with real users before driving massive traffic to a particular landing page or a sales page. Have potential listeners review your offer before launching. The gap between what you think clients want and what they actually will pay for is often substantial. So please don't guess into what your audience want. Like, people have this idea that they build an offer, then they sell it to an audience. But in actuality, you'd rather build an audience and then sell them the offer the audience actually wants, based on what the audience tells you they want, not based on guesswork. So the point is, validate before you start creating a program and offer around your podcast. Back up your recordings immediately after finishing. Nothing is more devastating than losing an incredible interview due to a technical glitch. I've been there, it's pretty shitty. So implement a crazy triple back system for peace of mind. Sustainability and growth. Charge all equipment batteries the night before recording. Preventable technical issues have killed more great podcast moments than any other factor. So create a pre-recording checklist and follow it religiously. Always do a test recording before each episode. Check on your audio, check on the video. If you're going to do the video, make sure the framing looks good. And simply doing this 5 minutes before you start can prevent countless disasters. Have a recovery plan when things go wrong. Again, technical issues do happen. It's bound to happen. How quickly you can recover defines your professionalism more than the failure itself. The more consistent your podcasting schedule, the faster you'll improve. Repetition builds competence faster than study. 100 episodes of average quality teaches you way more than 10 episodes of perfection. There is no single growth strategy that works for everyone, and this is just the truth, right? What explodes one podcast might do nothing for yours. So it's important to test multiple different approaches, one at a time, and then double down on what works for your audience specifically. Your listeners care way more for their own transformation than about you. Sorry to say it, but it's the truth, right? Now, this is liberating because it means that your content doesn't need to be revolutionary. It just needs to help them solve a specific problem they're currently going through. Create a music library to repurpose across episodes. Consistency in your audio branding creates a professional feel and saves you time when it comes to production. Don't hesitate to remake your most successful episodes. And again, you can just update insights. Your best content deserves to be revisited as your understanding deepens. I've had times where I've recorded episodes in the past, they've had to redo because, hey, something new has come up. I've had a new insight with a client I've worked with. That naturally happens. And again, your current listeners, they deserve the best. And it's important to know that if you just rehash an old episode, it doesn't matter because a lot of your new listeners haven't heard the original episodes anyways. Show concrete examples rather than abstract claims. So specificity builds credibility faster than being general. Here's exactly how client X increased their rates by 40%. Will always be my clients see amazing results. Spend more time editing your outline than creating them. Ruthless editing improves episode quality more than any other single factor. Cut 30% of every draft before you hit record. Perspective and resilience. Nobody in the podcasting world has everything figured out. We're all testing, optimizing as we go. The hosts that seem to be the most confident are often just one step ahead of you. Learning through implementation. Test strategies before dismissing them as ineffective. It's super important to test strategies before you dismiss them as ineffective. What sounds like guru advice may actually be exactly what your podcast needs. So run experiments before forming strong opinions about specific strategies. Avoid abstract concepts in your episode artwork. Concrete, emotion-provoking images will always outperform clever metaphors every time. Again, your artwork should communicate value instantly. Reframe failures as market research. Again, every underperforming episode teaches you something valuable about your audience preferences. These are not failures, it's only data. Podcasting requires way more persistence than any other content format, but offers greater rewards, which means those who commit now are building increasingly valuable assets. Focus on evergreen content over trending topics. Episodes that solve perpetual problems for your niche will generate downloads for years. But you can also use trending topics to expand your reach and take advantage of the buzz around a specific topic in your industry. Just know that if you don't have a content strategy to keep those new listeners hooked, they'll leave just as fast. Implement the advice immediately after learning them. Knowledge without application is simply entertainment, not education. So if you really want to make a change and make an impact, you have to change and make an impact. You have to take different sets of action in order to grow. And the difference between those who are successful and those who are struggling as podcasters is often the implementation of speed. Cover industry news when relevant, but don't build your entire show around it. So again, news-focused content has a short lifespan. However, transformation-focused content compounds in value over time. Leverage trends that align with your expertise. So when topics in your niche starts trending, position your unique perspective on it quickly. This will allow you to be discovered way easier. Again, this creates a discoverability while maintaining your authority. Some podcast niches will grow way faster than others. So choose topic with active, problem-aware audiences seeking solution. Passionate podcast hobbyists often make better listeners than general business audiences. Final words of wisdom. New competitors will continuously enter your space. Some will gain traction way faster because of a fresh perspective. Don't let that discourage you on your own journey. Most of them will disappear within months, while consistent podcasters build lasting authority. Inject your authentic personality into every single episode. Technical perfection without genuine humanity creates forgettable content. So all the little quirks you have, all your personality, all the little weird things that we all get up to sometimes, right? It's important to demonstrate that and show that in your episodes, because that again is what listeners will get hooked on. They get hooked on your personality. So again, those quirks, your perspective, those are your differentiating factor when it comes to the podcasting space. And as we know, it is getting more and more crowded. Be yourself, but be your best self. So again, a reminder that authenticity doesn't mean unfiltered. It simply means thoughtfully presenting your genuine expertise in service of your audience's needs. Keep your day job until your podcast is generating consistent revenue. And if you're a business owner, it's really important that you just prioritize and invest way more into the actual podcast, into getting coaching, expert guidance. But my point with this point here is financial pressure will create desperate energy that listeners can feel. So build your authority platform before making it your primary income source. Never waste energy criticizing other podcasters. The podcasting is way smaller than what you think, and your reputation travels fast. So focus on elevating your audience, not diminishing competitors. When upgrading equipment, consider the entire production chain. A new microphone might require a new audio interface, which might require a new processing power. So really think about the budget overall, not just the headline purchase. You don't need every available podcasting tool or subscription. Focus on mastering few essential tools rather than constantly switching to the newest opportunity. Document your podcasting journey. And why I say this is because the challenges you face today will become the foundations of your expertise tomorrow. So your evolution itself is valuable content. Trust that consistency compounds. The gap between episode 1 and episode 100 will astound you, and the seemingly small improvements you make every single week will transform into remarkable progress over time. And finally, look, one day you'll look back and be incredibly proud of the authority you've built within your platform. The episodes that seem like they're just ordinary to you right now are changing listeners' lives on a day-to-day basis. And yes, you can't see it, but you will. So trust the process. It's working even if the metrics don't show it yet.